Good evening and thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Naja Atutijani. Let's begin with health news. The Primary Healthcare Development Agency has confirmed some cases of yellow fever and has swung into action to address the problem. The Executive Director of the agency, Dr. Faisal Shoaib, told the Senate Committee on Primary Healthcare and Communicable Diseases when he appeared before the committee to defend the 2021 budget of the agency. John Yaku reports that the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and the National Agency for the Control of AIDS also appeared.
Yellow fever outbreak in some part of the country. Not Enugu, Bauchi, Delta, and we are still counting. I don't know, Benue, the other time they said they reported strange disease. I don't know if it may be yellow fever at the end of the day.
Within less than 24 hours after we received reports of the outbreaks of yellow fever in this state, we actually deployed our staff that are in the front line to go and investigate, working together with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, while at the same time carrying out a rapid outbreak response with immunization of people that live in the affected communities.
While commending the agency on the total eradication of polio in the country, the committee called for surveillance against reinfections in the country. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control was urged to replicate the model of COVID-19 isolation center in Gwagwalada across the 36 states of the Federation as a permanent health response facility during emergencies. Chairman of the committee, Chukwuka Otaze, said this investment in the health sector will prepare the country to face future health emergencies.
Nigerians were used to our being reactionary. Anytime we have issue, we run. Let us get a fighting approach. Once it is over, everybody goes.
For this model, awards have been given through the Regise project for 5 new centers about 5 months ago, but the process has just been finalized in Enugu, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kano, and Ilorin.
The National Agency for the Control of AIDS, on its part, wants to empower people living with HIV to reduce infections in the country.
Poverty makes them vulnerable, and because of that, they engage in risky behavior.
Polio has left Nigeria. We're also expecting that in no distant time, HIV will be a thing of the past.
John Yaku, NTA News.
And on the economic scene, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has expressed optimism about the Nigerian economy being steered onto the path of growth despite the prevailing challenges. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Ola Woni, indicates that Senator Lawan spoke at the Nigeria International Monetary Fund Article 55 consultation virtual exercise, where he listed efforts being made by the Nigerian government, including the anti-corruption fight, economic growth promotion and poverty reduction in the country, observing that the nation is on the path of growth while focusing on sustaining investment in all ramifications in spite of COVID-19 setbacks. The President of the Senate says the National Assembly has been as responsive as possible in the provision of legislative support to people-oriented proposals, and says the 2021 budget currently being processed by the National Assembly is aimed at addressing the prevailing challenges, including unemployment. The federal government has flagged off the conditional cash transfer for rural women in Gombe State. Zara Umar Adamu reports that 2 ministers flagged off the Women Economic Empowerment Program.
The grant for rural women is part of President Buhari's social inclusion agenda, especially the vision of lifting 1 billion Nigerians out of poverty. It is designed to provide cash grant to vulnerable women in Nigeria with the hope that beneficiaries will make good use of the opportunity to increase their income, enhance food security, and contribute towards improving the economy.
This is an intervention that President Muhammad Buhari has approved for women to be supported so that they can earn their own livelihood.
It is a grant the president has given out to support women to uplift their businesses.
Very grateful to Mr. President for remembering Gombe people with this grant, and we pray our women will use it very well to uplift their businesses.
To the beneficiaries, the grant is life-saving, considering the hardship created by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you. We say thank you, sir.
I'm very, very grateful. I'm praying for them. May God continue to protect them and open doors for them.
Receiving the ministers, Governor Inuwa lauded the federal government for coming to the aid of women in the state. 1,000 vulnerable women, including widows, are to benefit from the cash grant in Gombe State. Zara Umar Adam, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Union of Traders Association in Ghana, NUTAG, has presented a letter requesting the Nigerian government to facilitate their evacuation from Ghana. A statement signed by the Nigerian Diaspora Commission's Public Relations Director, Gabriel Odu, indicates that a delegation led by President, National Association of Nigerian Traders, Dr. Ken Okoha, and the President of NUTAG presented the letter to the Chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abikeda Birirewa, in Abuja on Wednesday on the grounds of consistent harassment, torture, and threat to life, as well as a total lockdown of their means of livelihood.
We are pushing that man to engage in other vices.
But we also know that it's very difficult to uproot what you've built for years and just say, I'm coming back, more so out of frustration of what this country has done to you. So I'm still optimistic that this can be resolved.
The NITCOM boss further assured the traders of support from relevant authorities to return them home for further consideration and to speed up the process with strategic ministries and agencies to bring a lasting solution to the issues. Mrs. Dabiri-Rewa also said Nigeria will not hesitate to gladly and safely welcome her citizens back to the country. And more commitments are being put in place towards actualizing the Nairobi Summit on Population Development. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that Nigeria is already towing the path of sustaining greater commitment in narrowing the gaps of poor reproductive health.
Nigeria, as one of the largest population destinations in the world, is already towing the path of sustaining greater commitment in narrowing the gaps of poor reproductive and maternal health services, as streamlined in the summit resolutions after 12 months of multilateral endorsement.
When all hands are on deck, Nigeria will be able to further narrow the gap and attain the goals set with sister nations as one family.
So far, Nigeria has remained steadfast in tackling reproductive and maternal health challenges and other gender-based issues, which are the main focus of the Nairobi Summit, aimed at providing access to quality health services and assuaging plight of the vulnerables.
The National Family Planning Scale-Up Plan was recently launched, and policies on adolescent health development and gender in health at an advanced stage of completion.
United Nations Fund Population Agency laws federal government resilience and continued progress in tackling maternal issues and infant mortality and appeals for sustained funding.
Ahead of the 2030 goal, another decade we have to reaffirm ourselves to these goals. It's a decade of action, and it's a decade we must not waste.
The renewed vigor at the first anniversary of African endorsement of Nairobi Summit after 25 years journey in Ethiopia is to race to the finish line in achieving universal health coverage and quality population. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Meanwhile, accountability, selflessness and actualization of citizen-driven projects remain critical to building a vibrant and progressive nation. These are part of recommendations made at the Commonwealth Society of Nigeria's lecture on bridging the citizen-government disconnect experienced in the hijacked NSAS protest. Elizabeth Omori reports.
The aftermath of the hijacked NSAS protest no doubt took its toll on the nation's economy, even as it grapples to combat COVID-19. In order for the nation not to experience such degree of violence, concerned Nigerians under the auspices of Commonwealth Society of Nigeria are advocating youth inclusion in governance.
Let us love one another, because once we love one another, we will help each other. I shouldn't see you as Hausa and you shouldn't see me as Igbo. You don't know. I should see you as a fellow human being. I should see me as a fellow human being.
Any area you find yourself, you have to lead well. But if you lead well, the thing will be climbing step by step to the top.
Jenthan Goodluck, in his paper on good leadership, noted that for Nigeria to remain enviable among the Community of Nations, the rule of law must be respected and attention given to critical areas of human endeavor.
Until we start paying attention to education, tolerance, engaging the younger ones in the government affairs, then we get the 100% of the good leadership we are talking about.
Eradication of poverty, attainment of the 17 SDGs, and good governance formed part of the discourse. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's time now to join Adiola in Lagos for more reports. Good evening, Adiola.
Evening, Najatu. Good to see you. Oil pipelines are critical national assets which have been threatened by the activities of vandals. The resultant effect has led to revenue losses and adversely impacted national energy security. These losses have, however, been greatly reduced with several military operations targeted at containing the situation. Dr. Oguyemi reports that the operational capacity of the Nigerian Navy has received a boost in order to achieve better results in ending vandalism.
Revenue losses resulting from vandalism and sabotage of oil installations and pipelines across the country gave rise to several military operations to check the menace. According to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, in 2017, 249 attacks on pipelines between Atlas Cove into Ilorin were recorded, resulting in over 50% revenue loss. However, since 2019, operations such as Awatse and Kurumbe have turned the story around, increasing oil flow to these lines by 2.7 million tons of premium motor spirit.
Yes, there are still more work to be done. The incidents are still going on. The vandals changed their strategy. I'm aware that we have taken down over 2,000 structures along this right of way. There is more to be taken down. We will work with you. We'll continue to support the Operation Kurumbe and Awase to ensure that there's total elimination of losses until we bring it to the level that the industry can accept as normal losses.
The presentation of 4 Toyota Hilux and 4 Outback vehicles by the NNPC to the Nigerian Navy is to aid the operations.
All efforts, including the terrain advantages that these assets being inducted today offer, must be in place to ensure the security of pipelines and the smooth distribution of petroleum products across the country.
Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command had earlier unveiled new houses for its personnel at the Navy base, Ojo.
The personnel are happy, their morale is all-time high, and this has translated to a better operational efficiency.
The FOC restated the commitment of the command to deliver on its mandate. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
Still in security, the Nigerian Police Force is soliciting the support of the general public in ensuring the protection of lives and national security. Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 2 Force Headquarters, Ahmed Ilyasu, made the appeal during the investiture of patrons for the Southwest Police Community Relations Committee, PCRC.
Just recently, the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 2, Ahmed Ilyasu, directed officers under his command to return to work and establish a fresh start and build trust of the people they serve. That move is now followed up with the partnership between the police and the community to ensure the security and safety of Nigerians. This forum is meant to engage responsible members of the public to stand in the gap for the police in promoting community policing mechanism.
The spirit in our men has been enlivened, and God in His infinite mercy will continue to be with them. He will continue to guide them. No evil shall come upon them in any way.
And give assurance of cooperation of members of the public.
AIG Zone 2 Ahmed Ilyasu said the best way to transforming policing is through collective and communal efforts.
It's a continuous effort. We are going to work tirelessly to ensure we drive that people-centric base community policing reforms that the federal government wants it to cover everywhere.
Some members of the police community relations were decorated as patrons. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And that's it from here, but the break beckons now, and thereafter the news continues with Nigerian in Abuja.
A scorecard like no other. Government has put in place measures and initiatives principally targeted at youths, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. These included broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years. The creation of 75 billion naira National Youth Investment Fund to provide opportunities for the youths, and the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Survivor Fund, through which government is A. Paying 3-month salaries of the staff of 100,000 micro, small and medium enterprises. B. Paying for the registration of 250,000 businesses at the Corporate Affairs Commission. C. Giving a grant of 30,000 naira to 100,000 artisans and guaranteeing market for the product of traders. These are in addition to many other initiatives such as farmer money, trader money, market money, N-Power, N-Tech, and N-Agro. These and more in spite of a recession and a global pandemic.
That social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
The Council of Our Fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
If you're just joining us, this is the news on NTA Nationwide. We're still talking security. Now, the dynamic nature of security challenges in this era makes it expedient for security agencies to synergize to bring perpetrators to book. The General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Oluirefin, stated this at the opening of a 2-day workshop on interagency approach in internal security operations. Jenny Bassi reports.
How to tackle the problems of insecurity and economic sabotage which are caused by militant groups in the Niger Delta region has been one of the difficult challenges facing the federal government and the security agencies. While government continues to search for solutions to this problem, the Nigerian Army are also stepping up efforts geared towards effectively tackling the menace.
This workshop highlights the interdependency of security agencies on each other and communal enforcement as against the dangers of individualism and single service approach to solving internal security problems.
We'll focus more on the synergy that has not been strengthened for some time, though the synergy has been there. But we believe at the end of this workshop, we will attain a greater height in our own challenges in fighting crime jointly.
It is therefore through the participation of security agencies that the safety and prosperity of Nigeria and that of its citizens can be guaranteed.
The workshop will herald the commencement of Exercise Crocodile Smile 6, which is an annual exercise conducted by the Nigerian Army in conjunction with other security agencies. In Port Harcourt, Jenny Bassi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, worried by the laxity in existing measures aimed at curbing a projected spike in COVID-19 infections, the World Health Organization has held a seminar for journalists in Imo State for effective sensitization. Rena Ohiri was there for NTA News.
Since the announcement of the first case of COVID-19 in Nigeria, the media has played a major role towards enlightening the public on the harmful effects of the virus and the need to adhere to preventive measures. Their duty as information disseminators, therefore, prompted this media sensitization seminar aimed at preventing distortion of information on COVID-19. The state coordinator, World Health Organization Imo State, Dr. Sebastian Oku, says media practitioners must brace up to the challenge of enlightening the public on the fact that the virus still exists, hence they need to stay safe.
And when we partner with the media, we can reach the communities more easily, which is why we have invited the media and for them to assist in mobilizing the communities.
The media has done so well in terms of sensitizing communities about what COVID is, how it can be transmitted, what they need to do when someone is infected and all of that, and how we can prevent COVID.
Some of the participants described the seminar as an eye-opener.
It will impact on my reportage that it will have to change, and those critical areas will have to be emphasized.
We learned that we should not relax thinking that COVID has gone.
We, the journalists, we should tell them that no, COVID-19 is real and is here.
With the second wave of the infection being projected by the World Health Organization, the need to play by the rules of COVID-19 has become pertinent. In Owerri, Rena Ohiri, NTA News.
And now let's join Amina in Kaduna for the next set of reports. Good evening, Amina.
in Najatu. Welcome to Kaduna. Going by the rapid transformation of the Nigerian Army technology hubs, the Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, says the days of holding the Nigerian Army to ransom by the manufacturers of armaments and other components are over. He stated this in a message to the formal inauguration of the Smart Technology Vehicle Manufacturing Plant at the Engineering Command Depot, Kaduna. Ablai Mohammed reports.
The Nigerian Army Engineering Command Depot, the heartbeat of innovation for the Nigerian Army. This is the home of the Mines Resistance Armor Vehicle and various other combat creations of the Nigerian Army in response to the marching orders of President Muhammadu Buhari to look inwards for its armaments needs.
I would like to place on record our profound gratitude to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR.
Taking the engineering command to the next level, the Chief of Army Staff automated the engineering command depot assembly plant, turning it into a world-class vehicle and combat equipment component assembly plant, leaving the representative of the Chief of Army Staff amazed.
The Nigerian Army has set the pace. Self-sufficiency in terms of spare part is it. We're no longer going to be held ransom for anybody.
With the Engineering Command Depot assembly plant imbibing a world-class arms and logistics manufacturing approach, it is only a matter of time that the Nigerian Army becomes self-sufficient in arms manufacturing and its logistic needs. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Hajia Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has advised women to take the issue of personal hygiene with all the seriousness it deserves for healthy living in the society. This was contained in a message to the distribution of cosmetics and sanitary pads under her pet project, Future Assured, to women in Jigawa State. Hawa Halliru Haruna has details.
More than 400 women, majority of whom are widows, benefited from the gesture. Items such as cosmetics and toiletries were given to help them improve on their personal hygiene. The beneficiaries thanked the First Lady and wife of Jigawa State Governor for touching their lives in times of need. Wife of the Governor, Hajia Magajia Badar Abubakar, also represented by Commissioner for Women Affairs, said items distributed will cushion the effect of COVID-19 suffered by the women folk, appreciating the Future Assured program for the intervention.
For the cosmetics, this is the first time, but we have been distributing a lot. We distributed tea palliatives, we distributed food palliatives, and we even distributed clothing and money. But this is the first time we are distributing cosmetics.
It could be recalled that the First Lady had recently sent in relief materials to victims of flood disaster in Jigawa State. From Dutse, Hawa Haller Haruna, NTA News.
And that's it from Kaduna. It's back to Najatu in Abuja.
The Council of Our Fathers.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
NTA News 24. A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
My name is Nando Jamda
Muhammad Stedita Hussein Musa Roduna Joel Chinji Said Musa John.
I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for more than 8 years now.
Ina sai da plantain na kai kimamin shekara 3.
been selling my tomatoes for about 10 years now, and I do it for a better Nigeria.
And I do it for a better Nigeria.
And you can see how we are doing our small little work to make Nigeria great.
As you can see, I'm a technician and I'm doing it to help myself and to help my generation.
Business.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency. These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it. This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Welcome back from Kaduna. Now let's join Lanre in Ibadan for more updates. Hello, Lanre.
Thank you, Najahatu, and welcome to Ibadan. The Osun State Judicial Panel of Inquiry on Police Brutality, Human Rights Violations, and Extrajudicial Killings receives 5 petitions as it begins sitting in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. Correspondent Joshua Ogunjide reports on the inaugural hearing.
The 5 petitions received at the inaugural sitting either had no legal representation or without petitioners on ground. All the petitions, whether with or without legal representation, were adjourned to different dates from 14th November, with hearing notices to be served both petitioners and the respondents. Chairman of the panel, retired Justice Akinola Oladmeji, had earlier maintained that petitioners must table their grievances along with evidence based on facts.
It is the fact and evidence that you place before us that we must use to assess the injury or loss suffered by the victim in the hands of SARS in each of the cases, and the damages claimed by the petitioner or any other parties as the case may be.
Members of the public were charged not to hesitate to submit petition on any brutality or violation of their human rights suffered in the hands of police.
I want to believe that at the end of this panel, we'll be able to have a closure on whatever injustice that have been meted on our people.
The 12-man panel will be sitting on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays every week for the next 6 months, as the next hearing holds on Saturday, 14th of November, year 2020. In Osogbo, Joshua Okujide, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army is enhancing high morality and accountability of its officers and men for efficient service delivery. In line with this, some officers and men of the 2-division Nigerian Army have been sensitized on the need for proper assets declaration. Correspondent Oyeyinka Omoli has the report.
It is mandatory for all public officers to make written declaration of their assets and liabilities and submit such declaration to the Code of Conduct Bureau. The Bureau says not all officers are conscious of what is required of them while making such declaration.
This workshop demonstrates and underscores the Chief of Army Staff's unwavering commitment to entrenching the culture of responsiveness, probity, prudence, and accountable responsibility in the Nigerian Army.
The officers are men from different formations under 2-division Nigerian Army were therefore enlightened.
It's purely an enlightenment exercise so that we get people's attention, those who are supposed to abide by the provisions of the Constitution. The Chief of Army Staff is so interested in this program, and so that is why they've made these provisions for us to address officers and soldiers in various formations across the country.
Some of the officers equally sought clarification to identified grey areas in the provisions of the Code of Conduct Bureau to achieve target objectives in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
Let's now rejoin Jatu in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Larry. Government and development partners. Government will no longer tolerate operations of illegal satellite campuses and affiliations with foreign universities which have not been accredited. This was reiterated at the inauguration of the National Standing Committee on the Evaluation of Foreign Qualifications by the Minister of Education, Adamu, which is in line with the present administration's quest to ensure that Nigerian students obtain foreign qualifications which are internationally competitive and of high academic and moral standards. The committee is set to determine the Nigerian equivalent of certificates and degrees of foreign institutions.
The outcome of the deliberations today is to meet in time and continually improve the protocol for evaluating foreign educational certificates.
The committee, headed by the Ministry's Director of Education Support Service, is to also ensure that the menace of illegal degree certificates in the country is completely eradicated. And Nigerian innovators now have another digital platform where they can harness and develop their skills in emerging technologies following the inauguration of a National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics in Abuja by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, from where Joseph Johnson reports.
This is the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. It was constructed by the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, and equipped with state-of-the-art facilities. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Ali Pantami, and the Director General NITDA, Inua Kashifu, while inaugurating the edifice, were unanimous that the center will foster the development and practical application of emerging technologies for sustainable socio-economic development.
The center is not aimed at resolving our problems of today, but rather it is a proactive center that we try to predict what we anticipate to happen in the next 2, 3, 5 or 10 years. Sit down critically, come up with a solution to that challenge so that when the time comes up, the solution will be ready on the table.
And it is going to enable at least 5 pillars of the 8 strategic pillars of National Digital Economy Policy for Digital Nigeria.
The project, many here say, is yet another milestone towards achieving a digital Nigeria. And with the inauguration, the center, as expected, will be witnessing lots of activities, but the major focus will be on prepping Nigeria for the 4th Industrial Revolution, supporting young innovators in making their businesses competitive, and of course, in the long run, increase the sector's contribution to the GDP. From the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics in Abuja, Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
It's very exciting indeed, Joseph. Thank you. Government and development partners in Adamawa State have been applauded for the provision of rural access to mobility aimed at improving the socio-economic well-being of the people at the grassroots. Bilkisu Abubakar reports.
The Low Volume Manual for Sustained Access to Rural Populace, which is a document meant to provide guidelines for planning and development of rural roads, which will pave way for appropriate construction of roads and minimizing environmental adverse effects. The documents, designed by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, which is in 3 different volumes, has provided ways of improving transport conditions so as to enhance easy access of health facilities, education, and sustainable development.
This investment, we cannot afford to allow it to deteriorate faster, because the generation that is coming after us will not forgive us for not maintaining these roads.
The Commissioner of Rural Infrastructure and Community Development, Abdullahi Adamu Purambe, who stood in for Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri, says Adamawa, as an agrarian state, government will not relent in providing easy access to markets to boost agricultural productivity, which will help in alleviating poverty.
To tackle multiple challenges of rural access, government has decided to partner in construction, rehabilitation of 505-kilometer roads.
Speaker after speaker vowed to adopt all the designs of the low-volume roads manual. In Yola, Bilkisu Abubakar, NTA News.
Meanwhile, another compendium of knowledge has been added to the rich resource materials which tell the story of the Niger Delta region from inception till date. The book, entitled The Niger Delta, An Environmental Perspective, is compiled and edited by Professor Enuvie Akpogoje of the University of Port Harcourt. Joy Uzo reports.
Defining the Niger Delta, its historical, environmental and cultural heritage, development challenges as well as government interventions are some of the issues 21 scholars from the University of Port Harcourt encapsulated in this 288-page book, The Niger Delta, An Environmental Perspective. Editor Professor Enuvie Akpogoje says the work is a parting gift to the academia after over 40 years of active service.
To pass the knowledge that we have accumulated over the years and profile the way forward for improvement in the socio-economic and environmental quality in the Niger Delta.
The petroleum industry bill, once that is passed, a lot of these issues will be taken care of.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Port Harcourt, the book reviewer, as well as other scholars at the occasion, commended the ingenuity of the work.
And it's essentially to draw global attention to the fact, and specifically to the fact of the, if you like, the precarious nature of the environment of the Niger Delta, and the need for us to engage in some kind of conservation-based utilization of environmental resources.
Scholars and observers act on the need for all to maximize the resources of the region, with the mindset that posterity is also waiting to harness the same resources. In Port Harcourt, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
President Buhari has assented to Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 this Thursday, November 12, 2020. It repeals the Extant Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 1991 as amended. This monumental piece of legislation is expected to enhance the soundness and resilience of the financial system for sustainable growth and development of the Nigerian economy. The BOFI Act 2020 updates the enabling law in response to developments and significant evolution in the financial sector over the last 2 decades. It will increase the appetite of banks and other financial institutions to channel much-needed credit to the real sector to support economic recovery and promote sustainable growth. In this respect, it introduces a credit tribunal to improve loan recovery and address the incidence of high non-performing loans within the financial system, which has been a key deterrent to lending by financial institutions. Furthermore, it strengthens the regulatory and supervisory framework for the financial industry and provides additional tools for managing failing institutions and systemic distress to preserve financial stability, amongst others. The Central Bank of Nigeria will hold structured engagements with stakeholders across the various sectors of the economy on critical aspects of the Act in the coming months. The enactment of the BOFI Act 2020 is a historic and significant achievement which is indicative of effective and productive collaboration between the executive and legislative arms of government. And that wonderful piece of news brings NTA Nationwide to an end. But sports lovers, I'm sure, will be happy to know that the Nigeria versus Sierra Leone African qualifier will be live on NTA. You can't beat the reach. And already our sportsman is here. Like, do you actually play sports or you just report?
That's the job we do. We talk sports. And of course, I know that you're also excited to know that Nigeria, is going to play the Super Eagles after many months out. The first time, their first competitive match this year. Yeah. But for you, Nigeria going against Sierra Leone, what are you expecting? Do you expect Nigeria to win?
Well, I'm going to go with FIFA ranking. Nigeria ranks 29th. So, and going by skills, I think Nigeria is the more superior of the two teams. So, yes, I think we're definitely going to win.
All right, so if you're going to predict the scores, what will it be for you? I know since you're supporting Nigeria, what are you predicting?
Again, I'm going to go with FIFA ranking. If you look at Sierra Leone, it's 120th on the FIFA ranking, and they've only ever reached group qualifiers twice, in 1994 and 1996. So let me go with 2-0 in favor of Nigeria.
Favor of Nigeria?
Yes.
We will know at the end of 90 minutes if you were, if you're actually right. But good one from you.
Thank you very much. So should we bet on it?
Oh, we'll think about that.
All right then. Thank you very much. And thanks for watching NTA Nationwide. It's over now to Bade for the rest of the live reports.
All right.